Hi, my name is Darby Louise. Welcome to episode 8 of the CoCreated Podcast. Like I said, my name is Darby Louise. I'm a maker based out of Memphis, Tennessee. I live here with my husband, my almost 1-year-old son, and our rescue pup, Pippin. I've been knitting for about 10 plus years or so, on and off. Though I do get into a lot of other stuff typically. This is a mostly knitting podcast as of late, but I do like to dabble in sewing and, baking and home goods and other stuff like that. So today it's a knitting podcast, but, we might see other stuff in the future. Actually, I might talk more about my baking at the end. So stay tuned for that. But I'm just always glad to be back on YouTube talking about what I'm working on. So we're just going to go ahead and get into the podcast. So here we are. I wasn't exactly planning on filming today. It is the week of Thanksgiving, so I have some time off work. So my schedule is a little bit more flexible, which is really nice. I have my microphone today, so hopefully you can hear me pretty good. But yeah, I was like, I don't think I have a lot to talk about, but actually say I have quite a bit. I have a few things that you haven't seen and some stuff that I'm just kind of working on, but I have a couple finished objects. They're all socks, surprise, but I wanted to kind of talk more about those. So hopefully if things go right, I will film this today and get it edited this weekend, and this will be up before December. That's my goal. So we'll see how it goes. Typically it's been like I'll film one weekend and it takes me about 2 weeks of editing here and there to get it published. So hopefully it won't take that long this time. But let's go get into our finished objects. We're going to start with kind of this might become, I might have to do something different on this project. So these are some socks made out of some mystery yarn. They haven't been blocked, so they're kind of crinkly and stuff. I might be taking the toe back on both of them for different reasons. Okay, let me try and see. So this was my first one. So I made these on mostly DPNs. Also, I've worked on these for like a year plus. So I made this one, did a little contrast heel and toe. I thought I brought my sock blockers out here. Oh well, maybe I didn't. So I did this one. This one took me like almost a year to make. And then this one, probably like 9 months. So, a lot of stuff to say. These were, I guess, one of my first pairs of socks. My gauge has significantly changed. This one's a much looser gauge than this one is. They both fit okay. And this one, like, over time, my gauge was tight, and then, I don't know how well you can see it, but basically my gauge was kind of tight, and then it got looser. As you can see, like, the toe looks huge. So I did not take that to account. And I did the same. I've done the same amount of decreases and the same amount of stitches. But can you see how much bigger this toe is than this one? So I counted rows and stuff, and I was like, well, everything's kind of different. So I kind of just like lined up, like before I knit this toe, I lined up to see like how much further I had. And the foot is the same length. But the toes are like, one is like, almost an inch, a little over half an inch longer than the other one. So they're just kind of, so part of it feels like I need to rip back and knit more of the sock, knit more of the foot on this one, and then I need to rip back and just reknit the toe on this one. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of over it and just ready for these socks to be done. I feel like they've been just kind of perpetually on my needles. But I do have, I actually haven't weighed this to know, but I still have a good bit of yarn left. So I could possibly make another pair of socks out of this. We will see. Oh, that's where my measuring tape wandered off to. It's right here. So yeah, that's one pair of socks down. We'll see how it goes. So those were kind of a bummer, but I was really glad just to finish them up. They were, sorry if you can hear that, that's my washing machine going. I was like, what is that noise coming from my back porch? Anyways, so that was not an ideal finished object, but I'm glad to have them off the needles and have them done. I really thought I brought sock blockers because I have so many socks to show you, but I guess I didn't. They're in another room and I'm not gonna go get them right now. So these are a little dirty because I've been wearing them a lot, but these are my hack of the Rye socks by Tin Can Knits. I don't know if you can, it's just a dark color. I just like knitting with dark colors. Also, it's raining outside right now, or has been raining, so it's really cloudy, so the lighting's not great. And so I was like, why not film on a day that the lighting is kind of terrible? But yeah, there is, let me see if I can just get closer. There's a garter stitch section, there you go. A garter stitch section in the middle of the foot, and that continues all the way. So these were knit. I knew I didn't have a whole ton of this yarn, so I knit them toe up. And so the Rye socks are cuff down sock, and they call for heel flap and gusset. But I knew I didn't have a ton of yarn, so I knit these toe up and did a fleagle heel, and I like the way it fits. I think, well, these are also 64 stitches on what size needles do I use? I think it's a size 1 needle, but typically I have the millimeters. I know them. 2.25. 2.25. Now you know. And the last socks I knit were also knit on a 2.25. So these mostly fit fine. I like the fleagle heel. There's just a couple things. I like the fleagle heel, I think, and I had originally thought about knitting these for my husband, and then he didn't want them, so I just kept them. He didn't want short socks, so I kept them because they ended up kind of short. I think the 64 stitches would have been fine if it didn't have this garter stitch panel, because garter just is so stretchy. It's so cute. It looks really, I like the way it looks. It's just, I think it stretches and it doesn't help out the fit of the sock. I also had done another pair of toe-up socks. That were taller. And so they came up further on the calf, and so I did the Elizabeth Zimmerman sewn bind off, which kind of gives you the look of a long tail cast on. I like it. It's really stretchy. I recommend it for if you're doing taller toe up socks. But because these are ankle socks, it didn't need to be this stretchy. So the cuff feels like it's huge. So they're loose, but they're warm. So I could technically wear these over another pair of socks. I think that would also help. And yeah, so I've been wearing them around. They've loosened up definitely, and they feel kind of saggy on my feet, which isn't the best sock feeling, but I kind of treat them as slippers around the house, which so they're the perfect length for that. So, but yeah, so another pair of socks done. I was kind of on a roll. I think it was the last 2 weeks ish. I've just been casting off socks, and it's felt really good. And because socks, I feel just take a long time, depending on who you are. If you're I feel like I'm getting into becoming a sock knitter because they are really easy and portable, and because you can just kind of do mindless stockinette for a long period of time, and there's only a few sections where you really need to focus, and even then it's mostly the heel. I feel like I need the most focus on, because the toe is a bit more of an even decrease. So yeah, so I feel like I'm getting into my sock knitting there was a season where like it took forever, and now I'm getting to the point where it's like not taking as long for me to finish socks as it used to. Speaking of socks, I have another pair that I'm very happy with. These are some DK weight socks that I made for my husband. So we went to a local yarn store over here, a few months ago now, and I was just excited to have a local yarn store closer to us, and anyways, he went with me. It's not his typical scene, obviously, but he picked out this yarn by Jim's Luxe Fibers. It is a yak base, so there's silk and yak in this, and superwash merino. So they're like, you can just kind of tell like the drape, the way these fall. I don't know, it's just they're really nice. It was a delight to knit with this yarn. They feel really good. I used a walk-through time, the sock pattern for a walk-through time. It's a DK weight ankle sock pattern. I made mine a little bit longer than ankle length, but has a heel flap and gusset. Anyways, I think it calls for 3.25 millimeter needles, and I knit these on just a 3 millimeter needle, and I did 56 stitches, I think. Yeah. And sorry, just definitely on. 56 stitches on these, and something about the yak base, there's a little less yardage than a typical like sock yarn, and so I knew doing DK weight I might be playing yarn chicken, and I had so few leftovers my scale wouldn't register how much was left over. So I think it's fair to say I probably had 3 grams or less left over. So like I had enough that I probably could have done like one more row on each sock, but anyways, I did knit them separately. So I was like weighing as I went and making sure like I had enough for each sock. But it was an enjoyable knit. I really liked it. I did start over because I started on 48 stitches, and those were way too tight on me, so I knew they'd be too tight on my husband's foot. But and they were kind of short, but I blocked them, and he seems to really like them. Again, very soft. Again, more like house shoe kind of socks. I did get him some slippers for Christmas that he doesn't know about. So I think this will be a really good pairing with those, because he's like, his feet are like perpetually cold. I don't understand. But these are the socks. Yeah, just enjoyed to knit. I had a really great time, and it was kind of a challenge to like weigh everything and make sure, like doing the math. I think I had 107 grams total of this yarn, and so the fact that I used most of it was really exciting. So yeah. So those are my socks. I realized I also didn't tell you what I was wearing. This is my first hand knit sweater. This is the Ursina sweater by Jacqueline Sayslack. I think I knit mine in a size 5, and I think I went up a needle size because I wanted it just to be a little bit roomier. I have knit this twice. This is my second attempt, and I'm very happy with it. It's just cozy. I touched it, like I got out of the closet, was touching it, I was like, ooh, it's like kind of itchy. Like, why did I think this was so cozy? And it's amazing like how you just kind of like, I have a sports bra underneath this, but not like a tank top or anything, so like it's next to skin, and it still feels very cozy, but it has this like really cute half brioche like panel thing, and then it has faux seams like under the arm and down the side and on the raglan, and it's a v-neck raglan, so it was really fun to knit. I highly recommend her patterns. She had there's a print-friendly version of the pattern within the pattern that's like 2 pages long. And so you can print that, and then you go to the actual pattern and plug in all your numbers that you need in the size that you are, And so your print friendly pattern literally just has the information that you need, and that's it, and it's great. So I love it. 10 out of 10 recommend this pattern. And with that, we will get into my works in progress. So this is not obviously not finished, but this is a half finished object, kind of. I haven't woven in the ends. These are the cloud slippers. I think they're by Espastrico. I made them on using Lion Brand's Wool Ease Thick and Quick. These are for my mother-in-law. They look really small, but I can get this on my size 9.5 foot, 9.5 foot. Yeah. So they're pretty stretchy. I made this in, I think, an hour and a half. The only thing I think I'll do different than the pattern calls for is I'll probably crochet. I feel like this part is really low, and so I'll probably do like a round of like single crochets or something to kind of bring up the opening of the foot and kind of tighten it up a little bit, because I think it feels really loose. And the only other thing I'm not a huge fan of is you like cinch up. I can just show you. I finished the other, it's also a free pattern, so that's really great. So you knit a piece that looks like this, and then you fold it in half and you sew up the back and the bottom, and then you cinch this and gather it up, and it makes the slipper. My only problem with that is because this is a bulky weight yarn, when you like gather all this up, it just like, it's all at the toe, and it's just kind of thick and hard because it's like all of it pushed together. But I made these in the medium size on a 10 millimeter needle. So again, very quick, very great gift knit. I bought this yarn. I didn't realize how thick it was when I bought it, and I have struggled to find something to make with it. And I feel like making a hat was just not it. And so I found this pattern just kind of scrolling through Ravelry, and I got really excited about it. And I was like, that seems like a great gift. So yeah, I think that'll be really good. These are for my mother-in-law, and they're called the cloud slippers. So those are those. These are a pair. Oh, actually, I actually am following a pattern for these. These are the Vanilla is the New Black socks. I don't remember who the pattern's by, but I'll link it below. This might be really hard to see because it's a self-striping. It's Patton's Croy sock yarn, and these are cuffed down. So I did a little, I did a German twisted cast on. It's not as stretchy as I was hoping it would be, and I think, and these are for me. I was making them as a gift knit, and I decided that I liked them too much to give them away. So I'm doing 60 stitches, which I think is fitting my foot very well. I should have done 62 to 64 stitches in the cuff because the cuff is a little tight. Again, like coming up higher on your leg. It's a bigger circumference. Should be more stitches, but now I know. But anyways, the heel is called a strong heel. So you do like 2x2 rib and increase. So you have like a center increase, and then you're just like increasing in 2x2 rib. And it just looks really cool. I saw Nitty Natty making these, and so I can get closer. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, and then I've done a slip stitch panel on the bottom, also inspired by Nitty Natty, and I like the way that feels. I just like a tight sock, and so I'm very excited about these. I'm trying to do because I did a slip stitch panel. Now the bottom of the sock is shorter than the top of the sock, and so I'm trying to I actually need to rip back a little bit because I was trying to do something and it's not working out, but I think I'm going to do a couple short rows to help correct that. So that was just something I didn't think about, but yeah, other than that, I'm not going to talk about my Yoon sweater, and I realize I'm talking about it by not talking about it. It's in the same kind of spot that it was in last time. I'm just working on that like endless miles of, sorry, I hit the microphone. It's just like endless 2x2 ribbing at the moment. And yeah, I don't need to pull it out and show you and talk about it. Hopefully next time I show it to you on the podcast, it will be done. I really want it done. It's just been, 2x2 ribbing flat. But I do have another new cast on. This is the Messia pullover by Amy Christoffers of Savory Knitting. And I don't have a ton to show you. Well, this actually took a while. It's on a sport weight. I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes sport weight in the color, I think it's Dove Heather. So it's nice. It's coming across a little yellow because I think it's my walls have like a yellow. They're like a yellowy beige. Something that's making things come across a little more yellow. But it's like, there's a good way. You might. That's a little bit better. It's just it's a light pale gray, but this is what I have so far. It is a raglan. I'm also at the end of a ball. This is the back because short rows. I have it on 16-inch needles, so yeah, there you go, sweater. Yeah, I knit about 7 rounds for the collar, and I went back and forth if I want to do a folded collar or not, but I think just because I want this to be kind of like a sweatshirt-ish vibe, I just did a single collar. Again, it's all kind of bunched up, but there's and I'll have put a picture in here, but there's like a motif on the front, and so I'm at the point now where I am about to start the motif, and I'm continuing raglan increases. So I realize I haven't done a sweater, that might not be true, that has just like plain raglans, and I just really like how like it's a 3-stitch raglan. I think it looks really clean and it's subtle, and I like that. I think that'll be really good. I'm really excited to have the sweater. It's just a matter of like following, so the whole motif is charted, and it's just gonna take some like focus time, and I guess just like haven't had a lot of focus time lately. I have, that's not true. I've just been putting my time towards other stuff. I really need to just I just need to print off the pattern so I have it available. So my husband and I have been doing, not so consistently, but just like no screens after 9 p.m. And so, which we typically go to bed at like 10:30-ish, so we don't have like our screens for like the last hour or so of being awake. And I was like, that's a perfect time to work on it, but I need my computer to have the pattern, so I need to print it off, a whole first world problem. But I've been content working on like my Yoon sweater, my socks and stuff recently, and I have some gift knitting coming up, or that I need to get cracking on, really. And yeah, so that's all like my knitting at the moment. I think it's everything, yeah. And then I should have pulled this out of the bag. So I went to Michael's because, so as I showed you, I had those yellow socks. Those were supposed to be a gift knit, and I decided to keep them. And so I needed to get more Patons Croix to work on. So I got the color, normally they have like cute names, but this one just says, I guess it's the color Cascade. So I got some Patons Croix in the color Cascade. I don't know if I can't see around it, but yeah, it's like a blue and like a gray, and it might have like some subtle striping to it, but I'm gonna make some socks for my sister-in-law with this, and I think this will be better. The self-striping just seemed kind of crazy. It's a fun out there kind of sock, but I thought I wanted something a little more subtle. And I think I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset for her, too. I think it's just a better option for fit and everything. And, yeah. And then I found this is by Lion Brand. It's from their Wool Ease line. And I thought the Wool Ease was only wool and acrylic. But I was looking at this, and this is 100% wool. It's about a worsted. I would say it might actually lean more towards like an Aran weight. I'll just watch and see what I can get. But it's like a single ply. There's 140 grams, about 300 yards. but yeah, like I was really surprised to find this. It's like a single ply roving, or is there Woolies Roving Origins, and it is responsible wool standard certified. So yeah. So I was really excited. I didn't think that they had, so yeah, it kind of gets thick and thin a little bit, which I think adds like the rustic. I know they have their fisherman wool, and like I know big box store brands do make 100% wool yarn. I know that. I just was really surprised to find this, because I was also touching the Patton's wool worsted to see like just if I ever did want to make a sweater out of that, which I probably will. It's very affordable yarn. But anyways, I think I might make a hat out of this. It's in the color olive, but they had this one. They had like a mustardy yellow and like a heathered gray, and I had to tell myself to not get any more like natural gray looking yarn. So, but yeah, I'm like really excited to work with this, and it's a good bit of yarn in one skein. This was $10. So I think it was about 10. It might also been on sale because it's the day before Thanksgiving, so there's sales everywhere. But yeah, sorry about the crackling of the bag. Anyways, that's my those are my acquisitions. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So yeah, that's my knitting right now. We're under 30 minutes, guys. Wow, what an accomplishment. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is that I've been baking, and I'll throw in some pictures. I don't know if I have a picture of like the finished pie, but I have Claire Saffit's Dessert Person cookbook, and I love it. I've only made a handful of recipes from it, but her philosophy and approach, and I think just like the encouragement she gives in the book of like if you can cook, you can bake, has made baking a lot less intimidating, and I've really enjoyed it. But I've made her caramelized honey pumpkin pie. I might have butchered the name, but that's the gist of it. It has brown butter and caramelized honey in it, and it uses a whole can of pumpkin, which like anyway, so it just has like a really good depth of flavor to it. And I used, if you watched my podcast last time I was talking about making homemade vanilla extract, and so we pulled some of that out and used the one we used was made with Old Dominic. It's a local distillery here in Memphis, one of their bourbons, and yeah, put that in there, and it's divine. I've already had a piece of it because we had Friendsgiving yesterday, we have Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I made 2 pies, and but I made the pie crust recipe from Dessert Person as well, and it's so simple. It makes a very rustic kind of pie dough, because you're not grating the butter, you're just like cutting it into small pieces and kind of mushing it, and so you have these like really big pockets of like where the butter melts and makes the flakiness. Oh my goodness. But we were eating it last night, and my husband literally like picked up, because I have like a standard pie dish and then like a thicker pie dish, and so I brought the thicker pie last night, and he like picked it up and was like, this is a really sturdy pie crust and it was like rolled, like it was so thin, but it was like holding up this like almost 2-inch piece of pie. So I don't know, I mean, it's, you know, getting past pumpkin season, but for next year or for Christmas, I don't know if people want to make pumpkin pies for Christmas, but or for Friendsgiving if I get this out soon enough. It's a really great recipe. I 10 out of 10 recommend it. I did not make homemade whipped cream to go with it last night, and I was kind of bummed, so I'm going to get some of that together to bring tomorrow. But yeah, I hope whenever this finds you, that you're having a good holiday season, and that you know, you just get to enjoy your making for the sake of making. And if you're gift knitting, you know, thoughts and prayers with you to get everything done in time, and that it is received very well and with the love that you intended. So thank you for watching. I am going to wrap this up and probably just work on some more of my knitting, but thank you so much for watching. I'll have my Instagram Ravelry linked down below, along with some notes about the podcast. So yeah, again, if you need If you want to reach out on Instagram or follow me there, be great. That's where I post more frequently and keep you up to date on stuff. Just as things go along. But anyways, I'm going to land this plane now. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.